Welcome to this podcast, which introduces a special resilience-themed edition of School Psychology International, namely Volume 37, Issue 2, as published by Sage. My name is Theron. I am an Associate Editor of School Psychology International and a full professor in Optentia Research Focus Area, Northwest University, South Africa. In this brief video, I explain the focus of the special edition which I guest edited, why this focus is crucial to school-based mental health practitioners, and I summarize the scope of the 6 articles that make up the special edition. I do this to entice you to read the special edition and, more importantly, to appropriate its important insights in your practice with children and the schools, families, and communities in which they are nested. The focus of this special edition is on the everyday ways that school ecologies facilitate resilience processes. Put differently, the special issue is concerned with how school ecologies regularly support children and young people to accommodate and or overcome challenges that predict negative developmental outcomes. As such, this special issue does not document assessments, interventions, projects, or other formal programs that support resilience, even though these are important. Using a social ecological understanding of resilience, it looks instead at the often unremarkable actions and attitudes of teachers and school systems, and how these support young people to beat the odds that challenge them. A social ecological approach conceptualizes resilience as a bidirectional process in which a social ecology and children who are vulnerable collaborate constructively to avoid negative developmental outcomes. Such cooperation requires children to utilize whatever resources or supports are necessary to achieve functional outcomes, and to ask for the provision of such resources or supports should they be inaccessible or unavailable. It also demands that social ecologies initiate meaningful resource provision, reciprocate in contextually relevant ways when children negotiate for supports, and advocate for life worlds that prioritize children's well-being. Understood in this way, resilience cannot, may not be reduced to a purely psychological mechanism or to one for which children are primarily accountable. Instead, a social ecological understanding tasks social systems, including schools and the psychologists who serve in them, with the responsibility of actively co-enabling resilience processes. In order for school psychologists and other school-based service providers to champion resilience, it's important to know how school ecologies routinely enable young people to cope well with adversity, and also how schools might constrain resilience. This knowledge can be used as a cautious starting point for the championing of resilience. I say cautious because resilience is a dynamic, contextually and culturally responsive process, and so a one-size-fits-all approach is best to be avoided by school psychologists. So, drawing on the everyday practices of teachers and schools in Global North and Global South contexts, in this special edition, Kumpelainen and colleagues, Liebenberg and colleagues, Sanders and Munford, and Tatlow-Golden and colleagues document how school ecologies enable and sometimes constrain resilience processes. They translate these 4 accounts into implications for careful, contextually appropriate, systemic practice by school psychologists and other school-based service providers. Importantly, these accounts all privilege children's perspectives that reify generic resilience mechanisms. Additionally, given the apparent primacy of teachers to children's resilience and the potential costs to teachers of this support, Beltman and colleagues interrogate whether Australian school psychologists encourage teacher resilience in ways that sustain teacher support of students' resilience processes. In doing so, they fan growing understandings that school psychologists should also attend to the resilience of teachers. Moreover, school psychologists need to be challenged to do more than support young people to beat the odds. They need to change the odds. This is flagged in the articles by Theron and by Van der Plaat. Van der Plaat provides a solution to the underutilization of proactive, systemic initiatives to facilitate resilience. To this end, she theorizes on the potential of a sociological imagination to heighten school psychologists' sensitivity to how structural and systemic influences inform resilience and to broaden school psychology practice. In summary, in keeping with a social ecological approach, this special edition foregrounds that school ecologies, more so than children themselves, are responsible for facilitating resilience processes in contextually relevant ways, even though children do co-contribute to the achievement of positive outcomes. Consequently, the theoretical and practice-related implications of each contribution in this special edition de-emphasize children's roles in processes of positive adjustment without negating children's involvement. Hence, this resilience-themed edition urges attention to contextualized, systemic accounts of resilience that capacitate school psychologists to advocate for, enable, and sustain meaningful co-investment in children's processes of positive adjustment. Enjoy reading, considering, and appropriating these valuable insights.